Bobby, new appointment now, head coach. What can you say about Juan?
We're really excited to have Juan back with us. Obviously, when we decided to part ways with Rick, there's a long list of candidates that reached out. We had our list of candidates and very familiar with Juan and what he did with us for a year here, and then the experience he gained in Oakland, and he was certainly on the short list for us, and really excited. I know the boys are excited to see him, and there was a lot of things that we looked at when identifying our next head coach, and Juan checked all those boxes for us. So excited to have him in here and out on the grass right now with the boys and getting ready for El Paso.
Coach, Juan's story with Oakland was short, but were you guys looking at how was he doing with Oakland?
Of course, I have a personal relationship with Juan, and we do as a club, and our ownership is familiar with Juan, and of course our fans and our players. So of course you're rooting for him as a friend, and his family is close with the organization. So we were watching how they play, and I think he's done a lot with that organization in a short amount of time, and you saw the way they were playing, and we got to watch him up close and personal a couple of weeks ago when we were up there playing him, and he was doing a great job. So we're certainly excited to have him back in the mix with us, leading the team, and very confident that we got our guy.
What is it about Juan that made him the candidate for this job?
There was a lot of highly qualified candidates that reached out to us, and then obviously that we considered as well. And you look at familiarity with the league, with U.S. soccer, that was important for us. We still believe in that locker room. We still believe that there's a chance to get into the playoffs, and once we get in the playoffs, you never know what happens. And so his familiarity with the team and the expectations of the organization, I think, were the things that really separated him from everyone else.
Well, in the space of a month, you went from not only having owners defending Rick as their guy to having not just him gone, but someone else in post. What is it that changed over that month?
Yeah, we just continue to evaluate, and obviously, as an organization, we want to continue to raise the level. The expectations are very high here, and for us, as we watched it, we felt it was time for a new voice, and bringing Juan in at this time, we still have a chance. We got a big match on Saturday, and an opportunity to still, give everything we got to the guys in that locker room, and so, we made a decision as an organization. We really appreciate Rick and everything that he did for the club, and the club wouldn't be where it's at today without, Rick's involvement, and he set a really high standard, and it's now time for a new voice, and hopefully we can take it to even higher levels.
And then the appointment of Juan coming on the same day as the appointment of Tab Ramos out in Hartford. Given that context, do you think it's fair that some people would suggest that this isn't the most ambitious of appointments?
No, I think it's fantastic what Hartford did in hiring Tab Ramos, and obviously his name, his experience, his relationships, what he did as a player, and what he's done, since with the U.S. national team, and of course he was in MLS with Houston Dynamo. It just shows the ambition and the growth of the USL and what the other teams in this league are doing, and you're seeing whether it's the facilities, whether it's the players, the player transfers. The USL is growing leaps and bounds, and just it's really exciting to be a part of it, and excited to have the likes of Tab Ramos in the league with us.
Bobby, now that you guys have a new coach, has Juan maybe ask for new players or some other new signings?
So Juan, we're going to let Juan, kind of get acclimated with the group, reacclimated with some of the players that he knew from his last year with us, and we'll see. The roster doesn't freeze until the end of September, so there's still some time, but I would never say never, but we want to give this group, Juan, the resources to be successful, and I would say, the ambition is there from the organization, the intent. We're adding, more pieces on the technical side. We just added, we're working through a visa right now for a video analyst that's been based in Europe for a Premier League team for the last 9 years, and excited about that. So the ownership group is committed to continue to add the resources and continue to try to set out and achieve what we did at the beginning of the year, and that's to win a championship, and that's still there for us, and ultimately we believe that the guys are in here. If there's an opportunity that can make us better, we'll certainly explore that, but we'll take it a day at a time.
What are some of the things that you saw out of Juan last year when he was an assistant here that made you think he could be a high-level manager in the future? Yeah,
his knowledge of the game, he played it at a very high level. He played all over the world, so he certainly has relationships and experiences that he can build upon. His ability to relate to the players and get the most out of the players, and even as an assistant, his man management skills were extremely strong. So we've seen that growth, and then his conviction in how he wants to play, and again, he was familiar with the entertaining, the attractive style of soccer that we play here in Phoenix Rising, and we need to get back to scoring more goals and high intensity, kind of in your face soccer, and capitalizing on mistakes. I think that's one thing that I think Phoenix Rising was known for over the years when we were scoring a lot of goals and winning a lot of games, was we would punish teams and put fear in the opponent. And so I think Juan has that ability to get the most out of the players. He has the knowledge and the experience. So I think those were some of the reasons that made Juan really attractive to us.
You mentioned the relationships. How important is it when you're bringing a new manager, and especially in the middle of the season, to have someone who can immediately win over the dressing room?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, familiarity is one of the things that made Juan really attractive to this group, and I know you see the response from the boys when we let them know that Juan was going to be the new head coach. I mean, just elated, excitement, right? A familiar face, and I think it also showed them that we believe in this group, right? It's inevitable. At the end of every season, it's not the same team, right? There's going to be guys that stay, there's going to be guys that leave, and so for us to be able to have, you know, someone come in here and these guys, like, they're not focused on next year. This ownership group, this organization is focused on this year. We're committed to this year. We believe that we can still get it done, and to have someone that knows the strengths, knows the weaknesses, knows the areas to push, knows how to manage some of the players that are in this locker room, to demand respect from the leaders that are in that locker room, and then also help bring the new guys along. I think, you know, you look at those factors along with his ability to manage and lead. I think those are all part of the reason that we brought Juan on board.
Questions, of course, about the manner of how you brought Juan in, with the negotiations with Oakland and all of that. How would you react to that kind of speculation and questioning online?
Yeah, what I would say is, you know, professional courtesy is extremely important for our organization, and I can tell you that I personally reached out and called the owner and spoke to the owner of Oakland Roots before we even had a formal interview with Juan.
Coach, you talk about this being the year and focusing on this year. Most sports either get a new head coach before or after the season. What made you guys decide to get a new guy right now instead of maybe getting an interim head coach on staff? Yeah,
again, we felt it was important. We believe in the support staff that is here, but for us, there's still too much to play for right now. And, you know, an opportunity, and it presented itself, and the timing for us, we wanted to make sure that we're not only prepared to go out and compete and still try to win a championship this year, but also be prepared for next year, right? And whether it's recruiting players, whether it's recruiting staff, seeing what we have here, what we want to build upon, you know, working with our youth academy, all those things are a factor. And the person that's leading our soccer operations side of things on the field, it's very important to have that voice in the room. So for all those reasons, to win now, to make sure that we're set up for success in the future, you know, those are the reasons we made the decision that we did.
Bobby, can you give us the update on David Rodriguez?
Yeah, unfortunately with David, just this past weekend, his ITC was denied from his transfer certificate. So unfortunately, the Federation didn't approve that. We appealed it, and unfortunately had to head back to San Luis on Sunday. So we were hoping to get the Rodriguez brothers out on the field together, but for the rest of this year, due to the window being closed, we're unable to reapply for that. And I know that we worked with San Luis in the Mexican Federation and, of course, the U.S. Federation, and unfortunately, our appeal was denied this weekend, and David had to head back down to Mexico.
Are there plans to maybe bring him next year?
We'll continue to monitor him. Of course, he's not our player. He wasn't our player. San Luis was fantastic in the process. It just the timing of all of it, getting it done right before our window closed, played a factor into all of it. So we were aware of David before this. We're going to continue to monitor David and see where things end up with him in Atletico San Luis down there. But we certainly believe he's a very quality player, and he has a lot of the attributes that Arturo and that what you like in Arturo. And unfortunately, it just didn't work out.
What was the reason for his ITC being denied?
Yeah, so it was just tied into how the data that was inputted into the transfer system and the timing of it all. We entered it in on a certain date. The transfer window closed. There was a response from Mexico. Documents are all uploaded. And unfortunately, when the review process happened, it was after the window closed, so we had to make changes to it so that both sides essentially mirror each other in the system. And because it was after the window closed, we were unable to do that. We made appeals. And unfortunately, it didn't work out.
Give us the update on the the September 10th stipulation in the contract.
Yeah, as part of our agreement with Oakland, we agreed that Juan wouldn't be on the sidelines coaching against Oakland. So on September 10th, we'll have Danny Stone leading the group, and Juan won't be on the sidelines that game. So that was part of our discussions with Oakland, and really appreciate how professional they were throughout the process, and we felt like that was reasonable for all parties. Fair to their players, fair to our players, and fair to everyone involved. But it should be a good match. We're excited about it's our only home game in September. Hopefully our crowd comes out and we have a pretty exciting evening that night, and our players are up for it.